Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in as always. Thanks for all your kind likes, subscribes, shares, comments, discussions, tips, all massively appreciated. Right, today we are trying out for the first time labocosmetica Cronos on the exhaust. Very kindly donated to the channel by a very good friend of the channel. So massive thank you for that. Anyway, so let's just go through the products. We've got a reasonable amount of soot build-up in the Forester exhaust. We'll have a look at that in a moment. And there's a reasonable amount of soot build-up on the Fabia. If you've seen my previous videos where I've used Built Hamber, Auto Wheel or Auto Glim wheel cleaner on the Fabia exhaust, it always does a reasonable job, but I've never really sort of gone to town and polished it. I have, however, actually, before I say that, there's always a couple of bits that remain on the Fabia pipe. So it'll be interesting to see if my sample of labocosmetica Cronos will take care of that. And as I was going to say, I quite regularly use Autosol on the back of the Fos pipe. So that always comes up pretty nice. Anyway, so for dispensing of the labocosmetica Cronos, we'll just call it Cronos for now on. From now on, I'm just using a laundry pot because most people a commonly found item. I thought it'd be better to sacrifice this than to sacrifice a goo pudding ramekin. Anyway, 10ml of the product in there. Good thing about these, because they open up, you can get your entire toothbrush into the base to get the product out. All good. So we'll try that first. And also, just to note, I've looked at the product data sheet online on their website, and standard thing: irritant to skin, irritant, don't get it in your hair, don't get it in your eyes. If any of those situations occur, rinse immediately. If irritation continues or it's in your mince pies, seek medical attention, etc. So best practice, keep away from pets, keep the lid on, keep it in a cool, dry area in your valeting product storage area, and keep it out of the reach of children, etc. And of course, for your own personal safety, gloves, essential. So a couple of other bits we're going to do, because I've got the Forester up on rally ramp, just so I can get a better shot really, and get a little bit more access. There's a few little crusty areas on, we'll have a look at the Lano Guard actually. That's still performing really well, looks nice and waxy and greasy and protected. Some of the backs of the suspension components, stroke braking components, few little crusty bits, so we'll get some Built Hamber Atomac on that. I've got that mixed up ready, 10ml in 500ml of liquid, relatively strong. Just get that on as a precaution. After I've got Surfex HD, a good glug of Surfex HD in the MJJC foam cannon, just to get rid of any road salt and to neutralise any chemicals once we've finished with the Cronos. Atomac, as discussed, once all the rinsing and cleansing has taken place. And then we've got good old-fashioned Autosol to get a good solid polish into the exhaust, and naturally a selection of not for paint microfibers. Wheel brushes are here should I need them. Got the angled extension lance just to save my back and to get up into any crevices. This is currently fitted with the 25-degree nozzle. I've got the 40, which I would usually use for bodywork, slightly gentler, and then I've got a 15-degree nozzle, which I'm going to use for today's purpose, a little bit more focused, shall we say, a little bit more focused, ideal for underside activities. And as well as the toothbrush, a good stiff brush. This has probably come from a muck-off mountain bike cleaning kit. Make sure that's fully engaged. Of course, a test squirt will be taking place to ensure that doesn't come off. And as you can see, we get a much more focused squirt with that particular tip. So let's get my other glove on and get the camera down, and we'll have a look at what we're dealing with. I also meant to mention I had a small amount of Surfex and auto foam mixed up in the polar blaster that I used yesterday for cleaning the barbecue. And because the polar blaster isn't so good at using all of the product in the container, I just poured that into the MJJT as well. So just for transparency, you've probably got 75 to 100 ml of Surfex, good and strong, just to get up underneath and give her a good solid cleansing. So hopefully this is enough to see the level of soot build up. As I say, I clean this quite regularly, but haven't done it for a few months. So definitely in need of doing, and it'll be a good test for Cronos. You can see I've got quite a large amount of Lanagard glued on here, no real drama. And if I just get myself moved around, you can see the Lanagard still nice and built up on here, feels nice and rubbery still. Just going to move around to the other side. My apologies. Let's see if I can get under in one go. Excuse me. So you can see around the diff casing and that rear beam still nice and gooey. Now the areas that need a little bit of Atomac, back of the suspension components, as you can see. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a dousing once we're finished. And apologies if the mic's, I feel it has moved. Right, let's get straight into the Cronos. I think I'll make a little stand, put the camera on a stand, and we'll get into that straight away and then get it rinsed off and see how that gets on. So a good thing about doing Forester exhaust is that you've got plenty of acreage to be getting on with. So we'll put approximately 10 mil into the container to get going. Just put that to one side quickly, put the cap on. It smells quite nice actually, which is weird. So I'll get a little bit on the toothbrush and then we'll just start working it in. I can see that a little is going to go a long way. Because it's got quite a decent cling. See if I can bring the camera back so you can see that working. Let's get this as close as I can. There we go. You can see it doing its job already. So I'm just trying to get it on the upside down bit first. The bit that's, you know, the other way up, shall we say. Because then gravity is assisting and letting the product just drip down and dwell. And as I'm sure you can see, double handy on an exhaust this size because you can easily get your entire hand up. So we'll just get around the outside as well. It says in the instructions not to get it on any plastics. Naturally, given the strength of the product, I am following that instruction to the T. Yeah, it spreads quite well actually. spreads quite well, and I can see it pulling off a large proportion of that soot. I don't think I'm going to need a great deal more effort than that, really. So we'll let that have a little sit. Just going to spread this round. Any areas I feel might need a little bit of additional assistance. I'm letting a bit get on that lana guard just to see if it does anything with that. It's not what it's designed for. So we're not expecting that, but if it can help me get that off easier, I am more than happy. And that is all of that gone. Just give it a little additional tickle with this brush. It's because you've got good reach. Nice, nice. Make sure we've got the tip. And then we'll pressure wash that. Right, let's get the outside first. And then start hitting this. I'm just going to get up underneath just to make sure it's not on any areas that I don't want it. And then we'll get in close and have a look. And as normal, I am getting covered. Right, let's get a cloth and we'll do one pass just so it's dry. And get in. Still doing its job back there. So I reckon I'll do one more pass with that product. And then we'll be laughing. Right, let me just clean my paws. And we'll get in and have a look at that. So, it's done a good job. It has removed a lot. So normally I would probably clean, I don't know, the first 4 inches maybe. Not go in for that full cleanse deep up inside. Anyway, see if I can get the camera there. Head on. And we'll have a little secondary tickle around that rear part. So approximately another 10 mil. Quite easy to measure because the sample bottle is 60 mil. Apologies if my hands are in the way. So there's a little stubborn bit up there. We'll work on. Still getting quite a lot on the cloth from the back. It said on the instructions that it was 100% water minuscule, I think it said, which means, I believe, it will mix with water. I believe. I may be wrong. Any chemists out there, feel free to let me know in the comments. And I'll save whatever's left for the Fabia. Let's let this have a little dwell this time. Also said on the instructions that it had like gel-like properties, so it would cling or dwell for a bit. Ding ding. Right. One last bit on the upper, just so that can dwell. And I'll pop this next to the Fabia, who is next. We'll let that have a little sit, and then I'll get that all pressure washed off, and we'll see how that's doing. Well, it hasn't melted my gloves off, which is a plus. And I'm going to spray it for significantly longer this time, so I'm going to have to get well away with the camera. Because as you saw, when I put the rag in, we got quite a lot of the dirt still active, moving on the cloth. So I'm going to get it all pressure washed, so we're not worrying about that. Also, I've cleared as much of the surface as possible. Right. Getting the bucket well out of the way this time. And me. I can well see myself running the car for quite some time after this to get burn off any moisture from the exhaust. Make sure we get all up underneath. Clear any overspray. So for me, from here, I can see we've still got a little bit of the more stubborn build-up up there, but this bit, all nice, all good, all looking nice and clean. So we'll get that all fully dried off, and then get in to finish that last niggly bit. Actually, we'll do the auto sole last, because what are we doing the auto sole after I've cleaned up inside, underneath, etc, etc. So let's just do one wipe. So still some movement really. I'll pop a clean side in, fairly clean. We'll go one complete rotation, so still moving. But it's a lot more than what, say, a Surfex or Touchless or Citrus would move on its own. You know, when I'm doing my regular washes. So quite pleasing, really. Like I say, we'll still get in with auto sole once we're finished. Quite a good example, really. Like I say, it's been a good few thousand miles since I've done this. And we'll have a look from this angle because it looks quite good actually. Hopefully you're getting a bit of light. There. Not bad at all. And like I say, it was like the black hole of Calcutta before. So it's done okay. It's done good. It has done good. Right, we'll get the Fabio done. Same process. Apologies about my feet. We'll get the Fabio done. Same process. And then we'll get to work getting the full underneath of Foz done. And then we'll get in and give that a polish. So we're only doing the tip on the Fabia. So these bits that are sort of burnt in, you can see that lifts quite well. But there's a couple of sections I notice, no matter how much I pressure wash it, it's always stained. So that'll be a good test for this. So we'll get the camera here. I don't think it's going to present a problem that the product is still blackened. So I just wasted that part. Suddenly thought that I would move the camera. There we go. Right, let us see. I'm quite excited. Quite excited. A little bit on the paint. I'll soon get rid of that. I'll squirt a bit of rinseless on that in a minute. Or pressure wash it off. So I think for this one, we'll let it sit, and then rather than pressure washing it, which is hard to film because of concerns of getting it on the camera, I will wipe it with a soft cloth. Try and get into all those nooks and crannies. So that's one of those tough bits up here, I believe, that is still loitering. Make sure we're getting it everywhere. You know, this exhaust is 17 years old. So, a good test for the product. Apologies if I'm working a little bit slower than normal. I'm trying to avoid ping, cling, fling, etc., etc. Well, you can see now almost all the product is black. The pot is black. The toothbrush is black. The surface coating is black. So maybe a good time, if I hit this for a second time, a good opportunity to rinse the pot and also the toothbrush, and then put on some new product just in case that activity on the Forester has diminished its activity. I can still see it sort of popping, moving, which is good. We're getting bubbles, which indicate to me that we're getting some kind of chemical reaction. Just get any off the paint. There we go. It's not caused any damage. Yes, I can still see it popping. I can't see the viewfinder, so you have to take my word for it if it's not quite in the right position. Okay, so I think we've agitated that enough. So let's just have a look. Nice, nice. Let's get that over there. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I think this is a little scuff here, so I'm not gonna lose any sleep over that. Just starting to get it out of these little recesses where the metal's formed, or the shape is formed, but that's not looking bad. Right, let's get this back where it was. I'll have to get down there to see if it's still recording. So we'll do another pass with some fresh product. Just have a wind in these little, the twin pipe section, which seem to have responded well. I'm going to have another little dwell on that, just to see if it can lift those last bits. Blimey, that's good. It's the best it's ever looked anyway. I'll get the camera in a moment and we'll have a little look in. I'll make sure I force more product up. Well, I mean, oh, sorry. Yeah, a little bit of light staining there. Good. Good. It is good. Right, I'm going to clean the pot and the brush, and then we'll get in for one more blast. Then I'll pressure wash that, dry it all off, and we'll have a look to see what the end results are like. Won't be a mo. Right, that wasn't as hard as you might think. I thought it was going to be tragic, and I'd end up getting plastered in it. But not too bad. Not too bad. Right, apologies. Just trying to work around the camera. So we're just trying to target a few little bits in that recess here and here. So we'll have to assume that it's the same or worse on the bit that I can't see. And we'll see if we can get the inner fully clean. Obviously, there's some pitting, as to be expected of an exhaust of this age. Oh, that's good. Going in with clear product and a pristine toothbrush, you can immediately see as it reacts and starts to change colour, you know that it's working, which is satisfying. I think that remaining bit up there, I'm going to get that off with Autosol at the end. For now, just working on the soot. Yet another phase, sorry, bug. Yet another phase in Fabia perfection. It was marked in between there, and with some light agitation, I reckon that's going to be gone. Get it upside down in there. Can work its magic. Get a copious amount up inside that crease. You can see the particles coming off as you're working. It's quite satisfying, really. And apologies in advance I thought this would be a really quick one, but it's kind of interesting. You know, I could cut the video really short and show me doing it for 6 minutes, but that doesn't show you what it's actually like to do yourself. I always find with YouTube videos, you know, when they're all cut short, a great example is Subaru Forester electric window motor replacement. You know, the videos cover it all off in 15 minutes, shall we say? Yet, unless it's something you do regularly, it is particularly time consuming and horrible. Just using the last little dregs just to get any additional areas that are out of sight. Why not? And we'll get all this product used up. Been using, oh, the bug's really insistent that it's going to stay on me. It's only little, but I don't want it inside my t-shirt per se. Right, we'll get this all finished up. We'll hit that. I'll polish the pipe. And we'll call that done. So a little goes a long way. I think this comes supplied in a 500ml bottle. And let's say you've done this once a year and you use 10ml per vehicle in the household. It's going to last a long while. So it's one of those products that you buy once and you'll have forever. Probably got other uses, but I can't comment on that. Oh, I've got sore hand. Right. That's as much as it's getting. Put the brush out of the way. Dry my mitts. And I think this time we'll hit this with a pressure washer straight away. So I'll leave the camera there a moment. Ooh. And we'll give this a nice hit. Sorry. Oh, yep, that shot it out the other side. I'm just going to do that till it's running clear. Make sure any residual chemical is neutralised. God, look at it. Absolutely wonderful. Wonderful. Right, I'm going to get that dried and we'll give the tip a quick polish. Let's do it together, eh? That's how we roll. It is how we roll. Right, let's get that there. Sorry, my hands are a bit black. I've been cleaning all my cleaning, drying, all my cleaning products this morning. So the buckets, wheel buckets, everything. Hosed out all the grit guards. So we are fully reset. Oh, that's nice. Nice. Well, that was nice and dirty, and it hasn't left a lot behind. Right. Let's see if we can get in close enough. So, good old-fashioned autosol. So, just trying to work on this little scuff here and a little scuff on the top. Just threw that straight on the floor. So it's going to work on that. There's a little scuff on the top here, and there's some pitting and dirt inside where the metal's rolled. So we'll see if we can get rid of that. What I often do with this, when I'm using autosol, I normally like to work in with my fingertips into the areas that need additional love, and then once I've satisfactorily removed any scratches or blemishes, I then like to try and form like a belt with the cloth and then just rub liberally all over. Right, let's just get this on there. Bit more work on that bit. Reminds me of when I had a Fizzy, a Yamaha Fizzy. One of my biggest regrets in life, selling that. I must be mad. That was my first motorbike. Wonderful. Well, I say wonderful. Wonderful now with rose tinted glasses looking back. But when you're 16 and all your friends have got AR50s, RD50s, DT50s, etc., and you're bestowed with a Fizzy, it doesn't feel quite as cool. Especially when people say, why's your bike got pedals? Right. Well, we're very close to that mark being gone. So everything with autosol, or everything with car cleaning, the more effort you put in, the greater the end result. But I am happy to say that the Cronos definitely took care of a large proportion of the manual aspect, which is good. And I mean, if you had a modern car, when the Fiesta's back, I will show you the exhaust on that. I always polish that. I'd always my plan was always just to stay on top of it. And she is mint. So there might be some very small fragments of tricky dirt or dirt in corners, similar to this. So we'll see how the Cronos gets on with that. I've got one little dot at the top, which sort of looks like it may not budge. But as this is on cam and I'm torturing you with it, I think we shall soon call that a day. I often look back over when I'm QAing the footage and organising the footage, etc., import, export, edits. I look back and I think, oh, I should time lapse that bit, speed that bit up. And then I look at audio track and I think, oh, I was talking. So I always end up leaving it. Whether that's entertainment or not, I don't know. Only you can be the judge of that. Lovely. Right. Just finding the clean side of the cloth. Make sure we're underneath. Make sure we're still in shot. It's starting to get hot now. Well, maybe I won't treat her to a new exhaust after all. I started to think, as much as I want to keep it all standard, I quite fancied I think Piper do an exhaust. It's very, very similar. You can choose from sort of, I think, 7 different finishes, end tips. Anyway, they do one that's very similar, maybe slightly larger, and would fill the contour of the bumper. So that is good. Look at that. Done quite a good job in here. Up to about 1 inch is pristine. Little look in there. Little side shot. Oh, sorry. DJR was fighting me. There. Nice. Right, let's manoeuvre. So that is Fabia done. And it's like new. Look at that. So before I forget, you get 250ml for 13 quid. And that means you get 25 exhaust cleans. Right. Just quickly mention that before I forgot. So I'm going to get the camera on a tripod and we'll get in, do the underneath of the FOS, get some Atomac on the suspension components and, you know, give her a foam, give her a rinse, get the Atomac on and then get underneath, polish the exhaust as much as humanly possible. So, camera staying there for a moment. For its own ongoing safety. So, we're going to do primarily Surfex in the MJJC. As I said earlier, there is a small amount of the other one. Oh. So I'll get that on fan. The great thing about the MJJC, you can work with it like that. No drama. No drama. Good time to get right up under the arches. Apologies, the view. Get that all up inside the arches. Behind the back bumper. All good. Nice, nice, nice. Ooh. Sorry, Fab. Right. So I can use that up now. Let it get a good old build up. Oh, to finish some in there. No reason why not. Nice wide fan. Easy. And that is that all gone. Right, let me just grab the camera. Apologies if that was a shocking shot. Let's just get this down and have a look so it doesn't evaporate. Ooh. So fully covered. Lovely. You can see the dirt being pulled off the exhaust hanger. Great. I only put it in there temporarily or hurriedly so it didn't drip on the camera. Anyway, that's all nice. That's all nice. So, a great opportunity to get it everywhere. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Right. Apologies. Get that off Fab. She doesn't want that. And I'll get the camera back. I'll get it on a lower tripod. One moment. There we go. Camera's going to have to survive. Starting to think I should have taken watch off, etc, etc. Alas. Here we are. Right. I hadn't planned for this, but this is what's happening. So I thought this morning, once I got the rally ramp up and I've got access, why not? So I'm purposely not doing under here while I'm close and the camera's close. We'll get into that in a minute. Nice, nice. Right, we'll scoot the camera back a bit. Get the extension on. Then we can hit that bit without me being plastered. And the camera. There. And with a little bit of angle, it gives you an opportunity just to whoop, and then get up underneath. Yep. Right. Just for access purposes. There we go. Well, that's the coating coming off the jack tow bar. I need to get rid of that. Starting to get wet. Right, that's any road salt gone. Hope my head wasn't directly in front of that shot, but if it was, I apologise. Right, I'll get the camera in a moment to see how close we can get in. Ooh. So, quite pleasing, really. Quite pleasing. Nice and clean, and I'm starting to get wet. So, just going to get this onto any areas that look rusty, crusty, or I feel could benefit from it. And mainly, you know, I do mother the Forester, so there isn't a huge amount, but nonetheless, it can't hurt. Not going to get too much on the exhaust just yet, so we're just atomizing this into any voids. Right, you have to tolerate my hand there. Make sure we get it up in the arches, because as we know, they are prone to rusting there, and I've only just had new ones. Right, hopefully that angle's all right. So, charcoal canister, fasteners, you know, one day I would like to replace all the fasteners. Make sure we get it on this jacking tow bar, mount camera safe, and then my primary concern was getting it on the braking components and suspension components. So we'll just get a good misting in there with as much force as I can provide. I don't think she's going to complain about that. She does like her TLC. And I'll get my arm in as far as I can for that same area. I am going to be absolutely covered. There. That's what we want. It's not looking too bad, actually. For her age, I'll get it into them seams. Nice, nice. Anything we can do for her, the better. Tell you what though, Lenagard has done well. Right then. Whew. So, next, grabbing a couple of clean cloths so we can get done in one go with any luck. Have a good old splurge of that. Oh, it's Lenagard sticky. Anyway, there isn't much that Autosol can't take care of. and it may be sticky, but it's protected. I'll stop talking and then I will speed this bit up. See you soon. Right, clean cloth and a buff. I've not gone beyond the top because I've got other plans today. Note to self, don't coat the exhaust in Lanagard if you ever expect it to look like this again without loads of effort. Anyway, so Cam can see this part all nice, finished up good, just getting through this. Also finished up good. Oh, my apologies. And just the tip to go. Yeah, as I say, when I was laying on the floor, not talking, because I planned to speed that part up, I was thinking, this is a classic example. Man plans to do multiple YouTube videos. Man spends all day cleaning exhaust. Idiot. Right, look at the inside, man. I can genuinely say that's nearly, well, probably 8 or 9 inches back, and I've never seen that vertical section before the silencer. Well, baffle, it's not silenced as far as I know. Anyway, I've never seen that vertical section that clean. Anyway, let's have a little look at the end result of both. Oh, my apologies. So, Subaru exhaust looking wonderful. Fabia exhaust looking wonderful. Underside of Foz treated, happy, cleaned, desalted, dechemicaled, and treated with Atomac, and all good and happy. Let's just put this on a stand and you can have one last glimpse of dishevelled me. Well, despite me saying a bit dishevelled, yes, true, I think I've been out here an hour and a half, so not bad really. February exhaust, easy, 15 minutes. Foz exhaust, externally, beating the majority of the dirt, 15 minutes, easy. Obviously, couldn't resist a little polish and a little bit of cleaning the underneath of Foz. Anyway, I am melting. I'm going indoors, going to have a break, going to get that uploaded, and then get cracking with another one. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. As always, apologies that I am a bit of a mess. Very, very hot. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.